knowledge series at the Delhi Metropolitan Education under DME Mentoring Cell. Sir is a mechanical engineer and he did his BTech from UP State Engineering College, KNIT Sultanpur. He did his postgraduate studies in international relations and was awarded MA, MPhil, and PhD degrees from School of International Studies, SIS, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. In his early career, Sir has qualified for permanent commission in Indian Air Force and Indian Navy and began his career as a researcher for non-conventional energy projects at Almora-based DRDO. Presently, Dr. Dubey is based at Almora, Uttarakhand, and helping the dissemination of knowledge to the Uttarakhand-based institutions. Recently, Dr. Dubey has been offered coveted position of International Director, Sports Academy Association Delhi for its Europe and Central Asian operations. Today, we will have Sir share his knowledge on career in international business after BBA. Sir, the stage is all yours now.
Thank, thank you, madam. Thank you, Suchi, madam. Thank you, madam. I am very thankful to you for inviting me for this session. I wish I should do some justice with the students also. This is what I am for, and this is what I have been doing for last 15 to 15 years. This is my passion also. International relations, international business. I always look for it, and I always encourage the students. And I tell you, prior to this, I delivered my lecture also to the GM and Ghaziabad Management Association and Merit Management Association on the topic of Indian economy, the current scenario. So that is like the idea is that we should disseminate the information to the students, the industry, so that both of us should be helping each other. With this, now I should come back to slide share, ma'am. Should I go for that slide share?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir,
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We are also live on Facebook, so I have prepared for that also.
Sure, please. You are always welcome. So, dear students, first of all, I'm very happy that all of you are showing so much interest. Your presence is a great boost for me also. That shows your concern for the subject, because what we see that is called a changing environment. Today, the world is changing. International dynamics is pretty, you can say, very much in flux. And what we see, we are into the COVID era. But certainly, career in exports, imports, services, that won't diminish. Ma'am, can I? Is it visible now? Can I go for the single slide?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yeah,
You can.
it's
Next
visible now.
slide.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Uh, so before I proceed, dear students, we should understand where were we in 1990s when India got independence in 1947. We must remember India was a pretty unfortunate. India was looking not having that much of economy, very sound economy. Though we started with a mixed economy. Remember, this was a very tough time for us also. Uh, World Bank dictated us, and so to that extent, India had to open its economy in 1990 under the dictates of the World Bank. But that, yes, that gave us a opportunity in terms of growing, because globalization was in terms of career, in terms of growth prospects. Today it is very much visible. Since 1990s, when India switched over to the LPG, thanks to Dr. Manmohan Singh and Mr. Narasimha Rao government, India ushered into a new era. Prior to that, it was a protected economy, not very much linked to the world economy. But now today we can say yes, we are very much there. And remember, in 1990s, when we had very scarce foreign exchange reserve, that was the precisely, you can say, if I'm correct, it's just barely 2 months of import crude oil. So what happened? It was just barely foreign exchange reserve, very limited, just $1 billion. But today you are brimming with foreign exchange reserve. Even after COVID, I tell you, you are brimming with foreign exchange reserve. This is the strength of an economy. This is the strength of this country. So why not? And a country's strength depends on its foreign exchange reserve, its economy, its size of the economy. I feel good when I tell my students that yes, we have already crossed the $3 trillion economy, and now we are heading towards the $5 trillion economy. Unknowingly, unfortunately, despite of the fact that COVID has made a dent, and obviously because of this, we are not going to have our targeted growth rate. But yes, nobody can stop India, and the beauty of India lies in its own market, because 300 to 400 million people, the youth population, more than 60% of its youth population is a really big market for the India. So India is a domestic consumption driven economy also, you can say, in a one way. So let me introduce you, dear students. First of all, why international business? This is something interesting. I always believe that IB is a passport to international career. Yes, it's a fact also. If you want to go to East or the West side, that's called Western countries, or the Eastern countries, Southeast Asian countries, you want to go to Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, or you want to go to Far East, Japan, Philippines, wherever. You can see that these countries are very much interlinked. Today, India is linked with these countries. So in a one way, it's a carrier, international carrier, and no country can survive because of its import and export. Import and export are in one way. It's an export which brings strength to the economy. We are looking for the hard currency, and that hard currency comes to us only through the exports. That's why Government of India even proposes or encourages that is to go for exports. So first is the international carrier, and second thing is that is called interdependence because of the globalization. Today we cannot say that we are self-sufficient. We need to interlink with each other. We need to integrate with other economies, and that is what is visible in our case also. So interdependence is a fact, and we have to accept it. That's why countries are integrating with each other, right? And that also talks about the international business. And when we integrate, more and more opportunities, mobility of the workers, skilled workers. Today you see Indian computer experts, Indian service holders. They are going to the Western countries. They are holding their projects. And first time India tasted the incoming repatriation of the hard dollar because of these IT companies. So I can say IT and ITES. They were the first to bring back that's called hard currency. So they were into the services sector, I should say, in this way. Cross-cultural assimilation and new challenges in a new dynamic world is also important. International business tells us how we can assimilate with each other, how we should know that is how to interact or how to negotiate or how to know about other culture, because each culture has its own specific things. So cross-cultural assimilation is important when we talk about business, when we talk about projects, when we talk about inviting foreign direct investment to our country or something. So in that way, we are increasing. This is what Make in India and other policies are being encouraged in this by this government, so that we can encourage to come to have this kind of exposure to our countries. India's exposure, that is called exposure to the supranational bodies like WTO, IMF, World Bank. I feel good when I say WTO, World Trade Organization, which is known as a supranational body. Prior to this, there was a GATT, but unfortunately, it was not very much successful in terms of delivering. But the fact is, over the period of time, a World Trade Organization, which is basically running, that is called increasing the world member countries more than 164 to come together and encourage international trade, so that each country can, the member countries can export and import freely without any reservations. And it's one policy that is called most favored nation status, allows one to not to have a discriminatory policy approach. Rather, one should have a same kind of policy approach with other member nations. So that is the beauty of WTO. IMF, World Bank also in a one way encourages, though they are helping in one way, that's called the least developing countries and developing countries. But at the same time, they are also very instrumental. IMF is the one which is very much instrumental in terms of currency regulation, our currency, maintaining the currency parity also. And India is already having the SDRs. So this is the one way I should say we come to know that the role into our economy, their role into our system. World Bank also helps. If you remember, in the latest COVID scenario, even World Bank had helped India to some extent in terms of monetary, that's called giving stimulus to our economy. So they were. It's like they are helping hand. Another one, which India is emerging as a third largest economy, and it's a fact also. I can't say that India won't. India will be. I remember yesterday. Yesterday was a very memorable day for all of us. Dr. Kalam Sahab. It was the birthday of Dr. Kalam, Abdul Kalam, and I remember his prophecy, Vision 2020. I remember again because it was he who had written a book in 1990s when I was doing my research in JNU, and then we were surprised. whether we will be seeing this today. Is it really correct? Yes, India is. It is true to his prophecy. India is emerging very fast in terms of technology, in terms of economic, in terms of services, in terms of knowledge sharing, knowledge dissemination, and whatnot. So if you talk about $5 trillion economy, yes, it will be someday because of the kind of developments happening all over the world. It is going to happen. Rise in Indian quantum exports. India is, if we believe, India is, exporting to several countries, including USA, China, UAE, Israel, many countries. At the same time, India is importing also. Till date, except two occasions, there was a trade deficit. When I say trade deficit, means there was some sort of trade exports were imports were more than trade exports. But this time, if you say there's a slightly decline in the trade, you can say there's a no import and more exports. So in a one way, first time it's a trade surplus, if I believe the RBI report. But the fact is, yes, Indian policy is conducive towards promoting exports, promoting trades, and that is why today we are interested in knowing why import export as a carrier. That's why I'm going to discuss all. And on top of it, that is called different trading blocks. Remember, we cannot live in isolation. For our own sake, we have partnered with several trading blocks. Maybe it's a BRICS, maybe Shanghai Cooperation, maybe BIMSTEC, and I should tell you, Indian Ocean Rim Association and BIMSTEC. When I was working with the Indian Council of World Affairs Approve House, so these were in the policy formulation stage. For example, BIMSTEC, that's called it's called technology cooperation between the Bangladesh, Indonesia, technology cooperation. Today we talk about Northeast as a opening gate to the Southeast Asian. So that is where we talk about we want to integrate our economy with the Southeast Asian economy with this BIMSTEC approach. Similarly, we've got the ASEAN from look east to now we want to talk about the axis policy. Now we are looking for the market. So these trading blocks are certainly going to help us in increasing our exports, or rather, you should say, increasing our presence into these countries, so that we can get more and more market. And finally, if we talk about thrust on infrastructural projects like a golden quadrilateral, east, west, and north, south road links, these are basically to promote or to facilitate the expedient movement of our goods to the port, so that no so that the consignment should reach to the designated part, okay, as quickly as possible. Indian problem was that our infrastructure was not adequate, so our it took more time to reach to the ports, and they ultimately led to the delays of the consignments to taking to the ports. So what happened today? We see all these infrastructure ports which are acting as a driving force towards the economy, and taking us to the speedier delivery of the consignment. So modernizing our ports and harbors, which India talks about today through Sagarmala, is a one such approach. So yes, this all comes under international business, and I'll just give you some of the points why international business is important for us. Now, since all of you are students, you are very interested why international business makes as a career. So I've just given some points just to draw your attention. You can become a manager exports in export houses, star trading houses. Now, what are these export houses? They are very, you can say, they are the one those who are getting foreign exchange reserve to the country. They are the one those who are getting dollars from abroad, and this is what this country looks for. So when we export, so we get in dollars. This is what RBI looking for. So government gives you incentives. So what is a manager of export doing? It's a highly paid job, depending upon the organizations, whether it's an export house, whether a trading house, a star trading house, or whatever. So manager position is pretty important. Even I had also during my time worked for very important Microtech Computers. It was its office was in you can say Bengali market near Hotel Hilton. Today it's a Hotel Lalit, and I was working as a exporter documentation one for doing that kind of export documentation. The reason being, our buyer was coming from CIS country, Kazakhstan. It was a 96 probably, and that time the emergence of the new CIS countries after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, these were the emerging markets. So we were looking for buyers, and they were the one those who were looking for our computers. So since our organization was, you can say, Microtech Computers, Okhla based, we have a production system. We were manufacturing computers. So what we did, we were first sending our, you can say, that is called one sample computer to buyers of the CIS country. So here you learn a lot how to treat the buyer, how to negotiate the buyer, how to work out, how to do the pricing also with them, and how to engage the buyer because they are like a god because they are giving you orders. So it's a very lucrative one, and we used to treat them like a very to treat them lavishly so that they should be happy. They should take our orders. We were also having merchandising, for example, leather shoes, leather this or jackets or other products from Agra or elsewhere. So what I'm telling you, such export is something which it can be a very good career. Those who want to be into this. Second one is documentation. Documentation is a backbone of the exports. I mean, anything if something goes wrong, entire documentation, entire things will may get cancelled because then custom clearance won't be there. All kind of things won't be there. So documentation is which we should look for. We should know it. Uh, when we talk about LC opening, when we talk about any financial transaction, or in terms of negotiation, so or in terms of all the documentation, when you say the documents related to the clearances aspects in the cargo, customs or custom clearance. So we have to be very careful regarding mentioning the facts and figures because it won't be accepted if there's something mismatch in case of the documentation. And then custom house agents, freight forwarding agents, they are there. They are also as a carrier. And when I take my students to Adani Port, sorry, this is ICT Tuklugabad. ICT is where means we call it Inland Container Depot Tuklugabad. It is one of the oldest ICT in India, in Delhi, and it is known as a dry port. And any container which comes from Mumbai or Kandla directly comes to Delhi, and from there importer can get its release. You can say container release. So the question is, here you need to meet with the CHA, custom house agents or freight forwarding agents, those who facilitate you, those who are helping you in doing the necessary documentation, so that they can even you can also get into these kind of jobs. Container Corporation, it's the arms of it is one of the branch of International Indian Railways, which is helping today. It's known as a Maharatna today, Container Corporation, and it is managing the containerized consignment. Container means a size of, you can say, 40 feet by 20 feet by 25 feet, 20 feet, 18 feet, depending upon the requirement of the container. So these containers are managed by or provided by Container Corporation, and they are helping you. So similarly, air cargo division, similarly warehousing management, similarly tranship. So immense carrier, those who want to be the international logistics, those who want to be the warehousing or Container Corporation. So depending upon your choice, your way of getting into this. Next one is a country head manager, international marketing research, mergers and acquisitions. Yes, these are very prominent jobs at the higher position. I tell you why, because this is a very specialized one. No doubt, international marketing, when we try to explore the market, we call it normally thrust products and thrust products and thrust markets. Now the question is, why we talk about international marketing, how we want to enter into such market, with which mode is acceptable to us, which are the market which is acceptable to us, which are the new emerging market. For example, today we call CIS countries as emerging markets, where we can explore, where we can export our products depending upon their requirement. India is constantly exploring the market through its own policies. And marketing research is what foreign countries want to do research in India, so that we can help them, we can provide them to information on or we can do the research for them if they want to have a research here in India. For example, Japanese company coming to India, so they want to do research for India, for themselves. They want to have a perspective planning for 10 years. So in that case, you can be also doing a market research for them depending upon their requirement. Next is a foreign. This is a very good career. Those who are good into number crunching, those who are into the foreign currency transfer or currency convertibility. Wherever you go to any destination, you'll find union transfer or money transfer, or you can say these experts are there. So they help you. They help you in terms of foreign exchange, conversion, and it's a very lucrative job, very cushy job, I should say. But it's very demanding also. So depending upon, it's also into the banks also, because each bank is having a forex department, or you can say division. So one can aspire for that also. We have got a consultant for patent, copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets. Why all this? Because today you cannot pick up any pic from anywhere and post it. You cannot pick up any tagline, or you cannot pick any logo or trademark. Why? Because this is known as an infringement. So who will tell you? Today, Americans have raised several issues against China for infringement of the copyrights, patents, trademarks. Reason being, they say it's our intellectual property. How we going to use it? And this is all possible under the WTO, World Trade Organization, because we are all the members of the WTO. So member countries are supposed not to infringe, that is called such rights, no, and they should take prior permission. So yes, in this way, you can also act as a consultant, policy analyst. You can talk about shipping, you can talk about the latest economic situation, export import trend, container trend. You can talk about all those things or you can act as a researcher or analyst for any think tank or organization. So that's a very you can say very coveted position available to any IB student. Consultant to international projects like energy, smart city, technology transfer, digital marketing. Yes, many consultants are there today who are working. And I tell you, my own students, when they went to Dubai, they were also working as a consultant for a consultant company as an intern, and they were doing for all kind of work for them, research for them. So these consultants are basically providing services. So these are very good for the careers. Now, what kind of skill sets, if I talk about for our students, IB students, what kind of skill sets? Obviously, knowledge is there, knowledge is a base, but geopolitical dynamics. First of all, do we take interest into the global dynamics? Do we love going to the map, locating? Do we take interest visiting the destinations, whether it's France, Paris, or you can say Israel or Hong Kong, Macau, or other side of the continent? You can so talk about Europe or America, Canada, Latin American countries, Brazil or Sao Paulo or whatever. I tell you, these are all scattered countries all over the world. So do you have the interest of geopolitics? So what's happening? Now, what's happening to day-to-day affair is it should be your cup of tea. You should be always taking interest into it, and then only you can have the feel whether we should export to this country or not. We should stay for some time or not, because you should be able to read the analytical part. You should be able to draw your inferences on the basis of the news and all. For example, if I say geopolitical dynamics, we knew that there's sea pirates were creating lots of havoc, that's called in Indian Ocean. And who were these sea pirates? They were the Somalian. So remember, because of this, there was lots of insecurity. First of all, among the shipping lanes, shipping companies. Number two, rise of insurance because of these predators may loot anytime or create any problem, or other things. And that's why I tell you geopolitical dynamics is very important. Secondly, exposure of documentation, sets of documents. Yes, this is what we talk about. So you have to have a well-versed with a set of documents. When I say set of is, you talk about the certificate of origin or custom clearance. You talk about these your different documentations are there, inspection documents, export inspection document, custom clearance. There are other kind of documentations are there. So you should be familiar with that. Next one is that is called our own waterways, highways, freight corridor. You'll be happy to know that today government of India is developing, freight corridors and UDAN. Freight corridors mean dedicated corridor for our freights, so that they can quickly reach to the destination, to the ports from the place of origin. And also the good news is that we are having a double decker. Now we can say double decker freights. That's called our this service. Why? Because we want to haul on a longer distance with a limited time, and the haulage should be more, and that is the beauty. It's already in China, but now we are also using such kind of modern transportation systems. Then we talk about the strong communication skills. Since we are into the cross cultural, so we must be aware about at least one foreign language. We should be also knowing that English as a base language, because some of the countries like Latin American, or for that matter Spaniards like Italy or Portugal, they are not very much well versed with English. So in that case, at least one foreign language should be there, and your communication should be strong enough so that you can go for the quality business communication. You can understand their culture, and that is very important. One thing is foreign trade policy. Without understanding, we as a MBA graduate, we as a BBA students, we should always understand we should be able to understand the policy and document, because this is normally what happens. The typical traditional exporters are not, they are not aware about the policy document. They don't know what kind of policy is taking place. But yes, if you are aware about such policy documents brought out by the government of India, the Ministry of Commerce, and executed by the Director General of Foreign Trade, so you can come to know that what kind of new products they have identified or encouraged, for example, through ITCHS codification, or for example, which area they have emphasized, or for which matter, for which aspect, for example, they are promoting more and more, where you are getting more subsidies. So you can be very much aware about through these foreign policy documents, foreign trade policy. Clarity of international mode of payments, LC opening financial systems. This is also important when we talk about payment systems, when we talk about the international system. And that's a very safest one. So we should be clear about rules of negotiation. When we talk about international, obviously negotiation matters a lot. How to make a deal. This is a very important skill set. How to engage your buyer. How to engage a person who is a 10,000 kilometers away from you. Maybe online, maybe this. That is very. So we talk about role of negotiation, mediation, reconciliation in case of trade dispute. Because what will happen in case if there is a trade dispute, how you will reconcile or mediate. It is important. Otherwise, entire project may be problem. So I have just given you some hint. It is not all. It is just you can say just an idea that what kind of things we are looking for, what kind of things. On top of it, then patent registrar, we should know the patent office also. We should know the that how it functions. We can also talk about the different kind of patents, and then other things. I have mentioned this is all with respect to giving you a feel of international business, and then here I'm talking about the international logistics and shipping. See, when we talk about international logistics and shipping, I'm just showing you just to give a glimpse which are the important trading routes. Okay, for example, this is the Indian Ocean. Remember, this is the Indian Ocean. What does it mean? It means here it is a Pacific, it is the Indian Ocean, this is the Atlantic Ocean, this is the Europe, and then again it's a West Pacific. We call it East Pacific. This is called a West Pacific. Now the question is, this is all energy route. I call it energy route. Why energy route and trade route? 95% of the entire trade goes through the Indian Ocean. It emerges from America, that's called Europe and America. It goes to Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, and it passes through the state of Malacca. अब आप ये देखिए how you find this. This is the very busiest route, I tell you. And if you understand the current geopolitics, so even China wants to control this, and that's why India, USA, Japan, and Australia, they had their exercise, because this is a very important. Whoever controls this route, Indian Ocean regime or this South China, is going to control the entire trade. So that's why if you have heard the name Quad 4, so it is there. They are very much into it. Port management. Port is again when we talk about port management, it means how quickly we can load unload our, since there are lots of mechanized, this call all mechanized or automatic loading unloading. We have seen all this in our Adani port visit. So here you see these ships, those who are bringing the bulk, maybe it's a coal or maybe a liquefied petroleum, or you can say the crude oil or whatever, or commodities, whatever. So they have grains, so they have to immediately unload or loading. So that takes place all at the port. So berthing takes place, port of call, where ships come and stay. But at the same time, when they go to the destination, then the berth is allotted. Then they are towed away, towed to the berth. Berth means where they are assigned place to unload their entire consignment or containers. So this is the one. So port management is a very interesting subject. Mostly it is very much a lucrative career also. Those who believe it's a both technical and non-technical. So students can join port management as a career. India's foreign trade. I've just shown a pic just to give a brief of it, that how this is what we see. Rising export is always a sign of good prosperity. I tell you why, because we look for exports. Exports means the more you export, the more you get foreign exchange reserve. The more you export, the more your presence will be to the different market. And today this is good that India is exporting. When India is exporting, on top of it, they have got the jewelries, that's called precious goods. Gems and jewelries are very important. You are exporting chemicals also. and many more things when you are exporting. At the same time, you are importing also, importing from different parts of the country, world. That's from China, from other countries, from Singapore, or you can say you are depending upon your requirement, your need. You got engineering products, you got the capital goods, you are importing from different parts of the places. So import and export, what we call in foreign trade, is important for us when we talk about as a carrier. Yes, export is in a one way. We can. I'll just explain 2 minutes later how we can become an exporter. Now this is before to this I'll just show you the products and markets. Now for a exporter or for an importer who wants to have a carrier should have a feel which countries are emerging market, which countries can be catered to as a thrust market, because the term thrust market is identified by the that's called Ministry of Commerce. Now thrust market means where we can dedicate it our services or our goods. And similarly thrust products, which are the important products which we can sell to them. When I say thrust products, which are those products which India can export to other countries where they have got a huge demand. And then we can say that yes, today India emerging as in terms of third product, that is your engineering goods. You can say, you talk about your you can say that is got finished goods. You got other areas which India emerging very fast. Similarly, you talk about the markets, for example, Commonwealth of Independent States after the breakdown of the Soviet Union. It is a very important dedicated market. Then we talk about the Latin American countries and the African continent, African countries also. So some of the African countries are also a thrust product for us. We find the telecommunication services, telecommunication to this. They are the one now. They are very much interested to our products. We are into the exports of the leather and other things to them. We are also providing services to them. So in that way, such areas are important for us in terms of business, in terms of negotiations, in terms of exploring the market. I just gave this slide where there's our commerce minister Nirmala Sitharaman talked about the $3 trillion economy, and this is what we have already achieved. Now let's get back. Now why exports? Now why export? It means export as a carrier. Now, those who want to become export, I tell you, students, you got a lots of opportunities because government of India is already promoting. They've got lots of encouragement for exporters. Those who want to become exporter, because why exporter? Because whatever you export, there's a price differential between domestic market and international market, and that is what the lure, that is what the temptation to get into the export. Number one. Number two, your uh, in terms of your prestige to this business, because it's a pretty lucrative. It's a high valued exportation, I should say, export. So probably it propels you to go for more and more. You got exposure to the different world countries. You have exposure to the different systems. So in a one way, it becomes internet. It becomes very lucrative to get into the market. And third thing is not only prestige. You got lots of opportunities to excel, exploring more and more markets. So there's a plethora of opportunities when you go to any country or export to any country. Not only one product, there are lots of products. So government of India has got lots of promotion schemes. One, promotional bodies also, through its promotional council. You can see there's export promotion councils where there's a handicraft, where there's a plastics or others, where there's a leather goods, or you can say other items, engineering goods, finished goods, whatever. So you have got around 27, 20 to 20, 25 such export promotion councils are there, which caters to the need of the exporters depending upon their requirement. You are into the jewelries, gems and jewelries. So you name it, and export promotion council is there. Similarly, you got the promote commodity boards. Now, what commodity boards are doing? Commodity boards means, for example, jute, tea, coffee. Tea, coffee. Why? Because they are also promoted through the commodity boards. Interesting part is tea and coffee is basically consumed by internally. India is the one country which consumes so much of its own product. So I should say it's a good for us also. But again, consumption of its own means we have got a huge demand. So we are internally demand-driven country. In that way, tea and coffee, we are consuming ourselves, and very less amount is available for us for exporting. At the same time, several countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, they are having common products which they are also exporting. For example, Sri Lanka is exporting coffee. tea, and Bangladesh is exporting textile and jute. So sometimes, and Pakistan is also, India is exporting basmati rice, so Pakistan is exporting basmati rice. So what I mean, so there is certain commonalities, but yes, at the same time, it gives you opportunity. Today you find basmati rice is being exported. You find your products, for example, products like mango, or for that other items are being exported, quality products, because they are very much in demand. Now there is a one organization called APEDA and MAPEDA, Marine Products. Blue Revolution. India has already ushered into Blue Revolution. Blue Revolution, when we say, it means you got those who are into the coastal areas, they can export fish or prawns or all seafoods. So they can export. It's a huge demand for prawns and fish in the American market and Gulf market. And then we are exporting our agri products. So agri products today, today India can boast of itself as a granary surplus country. India is exporting food, rice, you can say rice and wheat, depending upon the requirement. Basically, India is giving under grant. So India can, lots of opportunities with respect to exporting such items. No doubt, India is importing also. For example, pulses, linseeds, or you can say we are importing copra or, from Malaysia. Okay, so we are importing, but the fact is that because it is our huge consumption again, when we talk about refined oil or when we talk about these pulses, there's a huge demand in that way. But yes, India is encouraging. Indian government is encouraging to go for more and more production. You'll be surprised that during this COVID, immediately after this 8 months, India was very much into 304% of the exports in grains. That is a very good thing. So I should say, carrier in exports, if anybody wants to, yes, it's a very dedicated position. It's a very dedicated one. It requires lot of attention. It requires lots of knowledge also. It requires lots of hard work also, because ultimately the fruits lies in hard work. The more you do hard work, the more you get into the kind of success. So it gives you huge remuneration. It's in terms of dollars, huge salary in terms of a huge profit. So it's all are there depending upon how you take it, how much you are seriously doing your hard work. This much I can say for those who are interested into the export import business. Now I wish to come to the trades and services. So when I say I was working for Microtech Computers, it was in terms of goods which we had exported. I tell you, on the basis of my own experience, it was when I was working for Karan Thapar, it was Channel News Asia Singapore I was working for. So what we were doing in the media, now we were basically having our program here for Channel News Asia Singapore. I hadn't seen this channel also, frankly speaking. It was 2003, 2005. And during that time, what we used to do, we used to have the program recorded here in our studio. In the studio, the later on one tape was created. It was a good debate between the ruling party and the opposition parties, whoever. And later on, this tape was immediately dispatched to Singapore so that it can be aired on Saturday or Sunday. So by Friday, by Wednesday, we have to immediately go for the shoot. By Friday, we have to immediately dispatch it so that it should reach by Saturday, and Sunday it is on air. So this kind of, now what we used to do, we used to get money for it. Our company used to get money, and we were providing services to the Singapore Channel News Singapore. So I should say one thing. This is called trading services. You are talking about services. We are not physically present there, but for them we are doing a program here in India, and for that which the Singaporeans are paying to us. So in a one way we are getting hard currency, and it's a good thing. So try to understand career in trading services. Government of India has exclusively recognized this. Remember, today 56% of the entire contribution of exports come from trades and services. Very simple, I tell you. This is the important aspect, and that's why government has already recognized under Services Export Promotion Council, and I've already given, that is called the website for this, www.servicesepc.org. So you can get lots of details. Now what is Government of India initiative? Government of India encourages services. Why? Because to give a proper direction, guidance, and encouragement to the services sector, has set up an exclusive export promotion council for services in the name of Services Export Promotion Council, SEPC. Now this is good for us, because today India excels into several aspects of services. India is providing lots of, I tell you, services. professional services, and Indians are doing lots of good thing today in different aspects, in different sectors. In one way, if I say, and the data is slightly old, but I'll substantiate with the new one. So service sector is the largest and fastest growing sector in Indian economy, making as a 59% contribution in total GDP of India services. Export is one of the key thrust areas of government, and that's why government of India is also increasing. If you talk about FTP 2015-20, you'll also find emphasis on, that is called emphasis on, that's called services, exports and services. So services exports have recorded about sevenfold increase in 10 years. This much of US dollar 20.76 to you got a 142.8 billion in 2011-12, but it has gone manifold, I tell you. The latest data is already gone beyond this. So what it does it mean? It is increasing by leap and bounds. Reason being, more and more specialized services are getting into it. Knowledge sharing is very much high. So what are those sectors which we should focus on? And I've just given a list of it. So just see what are those areas where you can also enjoy, where you can also explore. And Indians are doing mind-boggling, I tell you. Health services, legal services. Health services, you all know, in today India is providing. India is a service provider in terms of health. People come to here for medical tourism. That's very interesting. You go to Kerala, you go to any part of this, they are giving you all kind of treatment. So this is called medical tour. Medical tourism. In one way, people are coming to India for the sake of fun, moving here and there, and at the same time, if they have to get their heart or this lung or teeth or whatever teeth extracted, anything, so they can do also on a very affordable price. India is a market where you can have a very affordable, at a very affordable prices. You can get the professional services in healthcare. That's why your Medanta or most of the fortes and all, they are already booked. People they come to airport, and from there they are immediately taken away to all these places depending upon their requirement. See the neighboring countries, see the other countries. Americans are coming to us because it's a 1/10 or 1/20th part of their what they have to pay in their own country. Similar legal services. You talk about legal, so you can get the legal services, accounting and auditing service. India is following those aspects, providing the services to them. Hotel and tourism related services. India is providing hospitality services, very good. Environmental services, entertainment services, audio, video, your Bollywood, all kind of recordings, music player, everything you are providing to them. Entertainment services, maritime transport services, related distribution services. This is what we were talking about, maritime transport. When we talk about linkages of the major and minor ports, you talk about other. So it is into this distribution services. Architectural. Today you see huge. You can say there's a real estate boom going on. Similarly, our own professional of architect, they are providing services in terms of design and development to the foreign companies. They are providing them design, all kind of things. Sometimes they physically go and work for them. So there are different kind of modes. I will call it mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, and mode 4. So I wish that these are very much, and educational, we all know today we got a tie-ups with the international organizations, the international institutes, universities. Yes, so education services means we are providing to them. We are providing knowledge share. We are providing software to them. We are providing, helping them. So in that way, Indians are very much Indian. You can say resource persons, Indian study materials, Indian going there and giving them consultancy, all kind of things. Advertising services, consultancy services, marketing services, printing and publishing services. I just given you all this. The reason being, these are the areas. These are some of the areas identified by the government of India, where government has encouraged people, those who are working in these areas, to get the benefit of the export or services promotion concept. Just for the sake of illustration, since time is a pretty limited one, and I cannot afford to go into detail, so I just given you how healthcare services is exports in healthcare services. So here we talk about hospital services and other services, and mandate is for healthcare service, which includes services by nurses, physiotherapists and paramedical personnel. We all know India is known for, that's called nurses which are from Kerala, and they are very much in demand. Our nurses, those are well trained, very qualified, and they are very much demand into the different parts of the world, including UK, USA, or you can say the Gulf countries. They are the one, those who are helping their hospital patients and all. So services, physiotherapists, paramedical, And as per the general GATT, as per the WTO, if we talk about WTO, under the GATS, General Agreement on Trade in Services, 4 modes of delivery of services in cross-border trade has been identified. And again, and what are those 4 modes of services? If we talk about, these are one. Number one, cross-border service, that is called physical movement, that is called from one place to other place, cross-border service. Okay, so here in this case, no physical movement, but you are sending things, for example, samples, diagnosis, clinical consultations via traditional mail, channels, electronic delivery of health services, telemedicine. Remember, today, even during the COVID also, I can consult my doctor regarding my mother's ailment. I can show his diagnosis, that is called diagnostic one, to tell him, sir, what to do now, what kind of medicines I should give to my mother. And similarly, he can also tell me on phone or that's called video calling, that yes, you can do this. So these kind of things can be done with your counterpart in any parts of the world. So we call it cross-border service. So similarly, electronic delivery, telediagnostic services, medical back offices, medical transportation services, and online medical education services. So these are very much visible. And I tell you, I remember one survey such based in Noida. What they do, they are getting all the transcripts from America, and what they are doing, because they normally claim. So what happens in their case? So these different things are coded in India and sent back, and accordingly what we code. So there's a for against each there is called dollar price. So ultimately it is easy to claim from their government. So what I'm trying to tell you, Indians are getting peanuts, but yes, in that way Indians are providing services, and in that way Indians are being paid. Indian companies are being paid. It's a huge business today when we talk about these healthcare services. Number two mode is consumption abroad. Now, what is consumption abroad? Means medical tourism for the super specialty services. So, and that's what we see when people come to Vedanta or Fortis or Escorts. This is called consumption abroad. Commercial presence, establishment of super specialty hospitals and clinics, diagnostics, treatment center, collaboration between domestic and foreign health service providers. So commercial presence, and final one is movement of natural persons. This is called service providers, that is called experts, that is called doctors, surgeons, nurses, midwives, when they are in the foreign countries to give their services. So it means movement, that's called mode 4. I tell you, these all 4 modes are very much visible in case of rest of the services. So what does it mean? It is a government recognized, and government encourages either of the mode by any service provider, and that is what you can do. The same in case of advertisement. You can try and draw and design and develop your design for a foreign client, and you can deliver to them without going there, and you can charge the services. This is what you can. So what I'm telling you, this is a very much feasible, and government is increasing, because health, there's a services share is increasing by leap and bound, and that's why it's a very important for us today. Just to give you a feel that how this country is moving since 2010, India has already, if I show you, India is already, here it is shown fifth. There's India in the fifth place, but we have already crossed Germany to, okay, and we are already in the fourth category after crossing the $3 trillion economy. Now when India will emerge as a third economy, third largest economy in the world, it is a time to tell, because COVID scenario is an unprecedented one, which has pushed India again behind. But if it not by 2030, obviously we can think of considering the various forecastings made by IMF, World Bank, and other rating agencies. Certainly in under 10 to 50 years we can be a $5 trillion economy. India, nobody can stop this. So this is just for the sake of illustration that India is already to the emerging economies, fastest emerging economies of the world. Now, I have just shown you an indicator considering the global economic impact because of the COVID, and my interest is just to show you how India, when it was 7.0 in 2017, 2018 it was 6.1. Today, expected one, there's a negative growth, that is called minus 3.2, contraction in the economy. But this is the World Bank report. This is the World Bank report, June 2020. And that shows India will recover by 2021, 3.1. Now, but they at the same time they say, if we take, this was the financial year. Now this is what I'm showing you in green. It's for the same month. that is called January to December. It shows by 2020, again, it's a -3. Now, this is a bit apprehensive that still we are into the contracting economy. Our economy is not still that what we believe, because like others also, we are yet to take our economy back. Just because of the government talked about some initiatives giving the economic stimulus, how we as an IB student is helpful to us. I just shown you, just see defense. First time government of India has opened FDI to the defense, means government now wants FDI, foreign direct investment, to our defense sector. Now, what does it mean? It means government wants to have a safety security as a prime consideration. At the same time, India has developed 30,000 crore worth of defense corridor from Aligarh to the Jhansi. Now, the question is, if it is open, so others will come to us, they will set up their plants, and India need not to buy the that is called foreign equipments, which India cannot produce for themselves. Number one. Number two, India can export also. That was the philosophy of the USA and the Soviet Union or Russia today. That is export of the equipments. And India, as per the report by the SIPRI, Stockholm Peace Research Institute, Stockholm, India is one of the largest today. I tell you, one of the largest buyer. But we shouldn't be for long, because it will cost to our exchequer. It will cost to our economy. So that's why India is, and that's why this is the policy here. Number two is space. I'm selectively talking about space. Again, India wants investment to their sector. India wants to come up fast. So this is also India is looking for more and more investment. Third one is a civil aviation. Why? Because India wants to emerge as a global hub for maintenance, repair, and all kind of things. This is the 1/3 crore per year benefit for talk about. The reason being, India's growth rate into the aviation sector is the fastest in the world. And today we have already crossed more than 100 this called airports, and today probably we are going to touch 170 airports under the Udan scheme. Ude Aam Nagrik. Now, when we talk about this, it means you are going to get about more and more technology, more and more employment opportunities, more and more interaction, all kind of things. So this give a boost to our economy, boost to our system. And before I wind up, I wish to mention what 5 pillars of self-reliant. This is the one what India should do. India should become self-reliant. India should self-dependent. India should indigenously develop its own technology. I have given certain examples when India was looking for technology and these were denied to India, whether it was a Cray example 14 supercomputer, or whether it was a cryogenic engine technology for its own space research or space ISRO-led rocket, GSLV, or you can say the third one was you can say the GPS system during the Kargil. We wanted navigation, but thanks God, India has developed, Indian scientists and everybody have developed their own, and that's why technology is the one which cost you also. Technology transfer is always under certain conditionalities. It is not easy, but first time I tell you, government is making is a policy that India should go for its own. So India should emerge through its own international business, through its exports, through its own policy care. India should emerge as a self-reliant India, which will help ultimately to its own. Last point, when we talk about considering the COVID scenario, green shoots. I mean, there are some visible signs. There's a visible sign in terms of exports, in terms of for example, rice 33% increase, iron ore 63% increase, mustard groundnut 50% increase in export, food grain 304%, iron ore 109%. That shows the positive sign between April to June, and this is it looks like India is doing. On top of it, if I mention the report of WHO and latest government notification, so I should say India was the one which again exported its you can say COVID-related sanitizers and many more things, and India earned a lot because this is what it did. Hydrochloroquine, these two exports to different countries, more than 50-60 countries India has exported, including USA, Israel, your Bangladesh, and at the same time today, yesterday, the day back, India was the news that India is getting good opportunity in terms of that is called a policy depletion. Now I should mention at the Times of India, there's a very good news which I wish to share with all of you. Syringe makers to ramp up stocks for COVID-19 vaccine. It means now Indian manufacturers are ready to uh, stock up their vaccine, that's called syringes which require for vaccine, because ultimately by 2021 India will require huge more than 1.6 billions of these syringes. So Indian manufacturers are getting ready. Mostly there are three manufacturers which are doing this job. So in one way it is going to be a good thing for India that these manufacturers are not only doing for India, at the same time getting ready to export also. Remember, prior to this COVID, India used to get 60% of the market from China. Remember, with this COVID, there is a blessing in disguise. India has very carefully, very, as a policy, and India wanted to be self-sufficient. People say how we will live without China. I tell you, it is not without China. How we will progress. The beauty is now we have to develop. We have to be innovative. We have to improve our design development. We have to go for cost cutting. We should, and our SMEs, which are contributing more than 60% of our production and into the GDP. So it is there to switch over now. Instead of depending upon the imported cheap poor quality Chinese product, we should innovate. We should design and develop our own, so that we can capture the world market. And remember, a country which exports much is a country which is known worldwide. And I tell you, it's a time of India when Indians, MSMEs, through exports, India should come up, and India should emerge as a leader in the world market. So with this, I should say thank you. Though I tried to sum up a bit quick, but now this is a time when our students should raise questions. Now I'm available. Madam, is it okay? Is it okay, madam?
Yes, sir. It was a wonderful presentation. I am also from the area of economics, so I found it particularly very interesting.
So good.
And you
So good.
used very interactive illustrations in your PPT. Students, in case you have any queries, you have any questions to ask from sir, the forum is now open. You can either post your questions in the chat box, or you can raise your
Yes.
hands and we will unmute you. So in case you want to know, if you're interested in international business and you want to pursue international business, you can even go for jobs. You can even do your MBA in international business. So this is the right time, I would say, to ask your doubts directly from the expert. Anyone who would like to ask anything related to this topic? You also have your subject of international business in your 6th sem. You'll be studying this subject. It is a very practical presentation that we saw of what actually we come across when we deal in international business. So I would want you to please ask some questions related to this. Anyone? Okay, sir, I have a question. Since I also taught this subject, so particularly, so in case of a fresher, sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, but I think
Yes,
If there's
sir.
some,
your time now. उसको आप
yes,
पूछ सकते हैं.
no
देखिए,
problem,
this is where please जी हाँ.
no problem, sir.
मैंने जानबूझ के 15 मिनट छोड़ा बच्चों के
sir,
लिए, so that जी.
Yes, sir, so that we can have an interactive session.
Right,
So,
right,
in
right.
case of a fresher, like right after the BBA, in which
Ji.
positions do they have a greater probability of being absorbed? Like for which positions should they try after graduating?
Okay. After graduating, you want in which position they should aspire for,
For
right?
which positions, for which areas in international business they should try more?
Okay. See, what I personally believe in terms of job employment, or in terms of areas when they have
The
completed their
job
program.
employment, job
Job
employment, sir, after
job
BBA.
employment. After BBA, right?
Yes,
After
yes.
BBA, there is still a doubt for me, because since they are not exposed to proper documentation part, right, madam? This is where I should say that then if they would have been exposed to the documentation part, there are 8 to 10 documentations which are very important. For example, when we talk about certificate of origin. Now this is if I say like this, today government of India has changed the policy. Now government of India says, including the Amazon and all, right? Ki, from wherever you are getting your product, okay, you please show us the that is called you show the certificate of origin. From where? ऐसा तो नहीं कि आपने चाइना से मंगा लिया और अमेजन में यहाँ बेच दिया, right? That is now it has become mandatory for all the e platforms, e service providers, e-commerce companies. And that's why, reason being, we want to keep a tab on, we want to keep a check on anything which is coming from China. And government has very tactfully isolated China this time, which they were not able to do earlier. So this is the one policy. Now similarly, if our students are just having the marketing part, I mean, so they can go to the marketing aspect. For example, marketing, when they got some exposure, if a foreign company comes to India,
I think there is some internet connectivity issue.
Yeah, that's urgent.
Let's wait for Sir to join back. Students, why aren't you asking any questions? This is a very interesting field, and personally, I found this session to be very
do
interesting.
something like some research work, they can do, they can make some
Yes, sir. Sir, you are on mute.
Is it
Yes,
okay
sir.
now?
Now,
Is it okay?
yes, sir. Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
So for a BBA student, since it will be too early to say where they'll be. Yes, they can do one thing. They can give a briefing about their country, because they are from India. So they can give a briefing about their product, their country, in a genetic report. This much I can say. If X or Y, I mean, he or she is good into the research part. So what she can do, for example, if somebody is looking for some product in India and wants to see who can use, who are the, which part of the country is important for this kind of thing. So in that case, she can do some good work. I tell you, from my own experience, one of my colleague, from industry, you know what he said, Dr. Dubey, this is a product from Japan. Well, you might have seen, today we find a greasy, shining apples. Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So what happened for that? Because these are all chemicals which are used. Now a Japanese company came to India with the intent to do a market research, so that this product, which basically if you wash these items, vegetables or fruits, by this solution, okay, so what will happen? People will use it. It will be very good for health point of view also, right? But obviously, this sachet is of some price, isn't it? So they wanted to do a market survey. So now our students can do this kind of market survey by visiting to the places, getting a report, and then they can come up. Yes, this kind of thing can be done, right, madam? These are some of the stray examples which, for we as a BBA student with a limited knowledge, I should say, limited exposure of IP, I should say, we can do for them, because marketing we are studying, we are doing all these things, right? So in that way we can do work for them. We can compile for them report. Again, very good thing. For example, this Japanese company, they want some Indian economy, they want Indian report. So at least our students, BB students, can collect different reports from of the government of India and provide to them. Okay, so that is called research work, which obviously with a one small 2 page 3 page briefings, that this is the salient point, Indian economy going to this stage, this and this, and then it can be supplied to the foreign, you can say, companies, MNCs, which they are looking for. So in this way, and they want, embassies are looking for this kind of information, I tell you.
Okay.
That's why today, under this present regime, each our own embassies, 200 embassies are there, madam, almost, right? And all of them are having economic branch. This is called business branch, where you can supply information, up-to-date information on demand to the foreign companies, to the MNCs. You have to encourage them. So this is what it's all about, right, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So one more question I have, like in one of the areas, one of the career areas where you highlighted was in case of mediation, reconciliation in case of trade dispute. So
Yes,
in that, sir, is the legal knowledge required? Can the law students also apply in that area?
okay. See, why I mentioned this, again, we all know, sorry to mention this, whenever we are doing our business, export business, with the Middle East countries, okay, Gulf countries we call them, Saudi Arabia, this and that. The governance part is pretty low. We all know this. If as long as they are happy, your business is pretty good.
Yeah.
But the moment they become unhappy, then they are the god, right? Now, what is important here? To keep them in good faith, to keep them in good mood, or I should say, or to avoid the dispute. That's why I talked about the reconciliation or mediation or something. Because in America, in other parts, in India, it's all our legal aspect is very strong. I tell you, any company. Latest example being Vodafone. Just see, Vodafone got the compensation from government of India, whereas our authorities were asking to pay, ask government of Vodafone to pay to us. See, so our legal system is very methodical, very systematic. Nobody can influence. But in certain countries where we are exporting, for example, Nigeria, you don't know Somalia. At least you shouldn't venture into such countries because you don't know what will happen. Rwanda, African countries strictly no. Their economy we don't know. So what will happen? It will be like everything gone with a toss. Okay, no legal, no economy, and ultimately it will be a big
Big
problem for
risk.
yes, big risk. Obviously, it's a risk also, big risk. But when we say Gulf countries, I've got my reservations that we should be ready for this kind of approach. Now, mediation is what? Let me tell you. One of my friend, he was working for embassy. You know what he told me? That is, we all know the 40 nurses were made free from by the government of India. That is from Iraq during the ISIS. Now here, what I tell you, I also read in the newspaper, and then I came to know this gentleman. He was the ambassador. Actually, his services were required because he was into posted to Saudi Arabia, Gulf and Iraq. Initially, his posting was in Iraq, and he uses good offices to mediate this issue. To mediate this issue, right, madam? So all of us should be having the capabilities to mediate, to solve our problems, so that we shouldn't get into this kind of trouble. Otherwise, what will happen? Then it will be a big sue in terms of losses, financial losses, and all. Right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. And sir,
Yes.
how is the current job scenario in this field of international business like after all
Huh.
this pandemic?
And I agree. There's a downturn, no doubt. Okay, whole world is gripping under the economic downturn, slowdown. So right now, no shipping, nothing. It's a bit less. But the fact is, I should say, European market is emerging, gradually emerging fast. Okay, Indians are trying. Even you see today the newspaper. Today is Navratri, big
Hmm.
sale, this and that, Maha sale. What it shows? They tell me these are services sector, right? They are there. It means there are still positive things. If today e-commerce company is doing a business in this country, it means they are importing from vendors, they are getting somewhere. Okay, domestic demand is there. So in a one way, I won't say it's a pretty increasing, but yes, we should keep an eye. We should be waiting for time to recover, because this is just a green shoots. These are the early symptoms. But by the time and the 6 months, what we say, if RBI report, if we believe that 2 days back, so it talks about by next early month and next year, we can have a positive symptoms in terms of our economy. So let's depend on those. But again, I'll have my reservations. Try to understand when I say reservations. Number one, number one, world is already under reeling under a pandemic. USA is already under the election mode. Whether Trump comes or Biden, it won't be decided before January. USA and China already trade war, so it won't be negotiated early. Federal government, जो federal bank है, the Federal Bank of USA, it won't be able to release its policy till the new presidential comes to power, right? So till we have to wait. And last point, since India, since this geopolitical situation is in a flux, because Chinese are fluxing their muscles in South China Sea, in case of Indian Ocean, and India is engaged on two fronts. Probably it's a three front, I should say. India is a unique country. We are engaging ourselves in Ladakh on a border, 50,000 forces. When I say 50,000 forces, it means our resources are being drained to that portion, right? Number two, India is engaged in its own recovery, and number three, India is trying to take the issues with respect to its own country policy. What I mean to say that it's a time to wait and watch, right, madam?
Yes.
No statement has kept that India won't be engaging war with Pakistan or China. It's very 50-50. It's a finger crossed. Remember, I tell you. So what will happen tomorrow? All these forecasting will go haywire, right? And that's why I say we have to wait till Chinese say no, situation is normal on the border. India should withdraw. There's a one point till American elections come to picture to a final conclusion, and the Federal Bank of America comes out with its policy, because each economy depends upon the federal policy of America, right, madam?
Yes,
So,
sir.
so in that way, it's like a wait and watch policy, and that's why I personally believe that still a time we have to. On top of it, how pandemic will emerge further. Now is a second wave, third wave, God knows what kind of waves coming, right? So please take care of yourself. I request
Thank
I request the students also to take care, because this is a high time. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for so patiently answering my queries. Uh, Students, last chance if you want to answer before we wind up the session. And we have also shared a feedback form in the chat window. Please click on that link and please fill that feedback form so that we can have your inputs and keep on organizing such sessions in the future as well. Ma'am, do we have any queries in the chat window?
No, ma'am. I think this subject altogether is new to them, so maybe they might take
Yeah,
some
yeah.
time.
Most
So,
of
but
them are the second year students who
yeah,
haven't studied
right.
international business yet.
Hmm.
Yes, sir, it's in 6M.
Okay. Okay.
Sir,
It's in final year.
most sir, mostly it happens to be international layer, so it's like quite far off, out of our reach types. But if such sessions are there to really tell us, like you told us about the embassy, which personally I also was not aware that such a thing happens. So if such awarenesses are around, and if people like you do, throw there's so much of light, and definitely they will have interest in all
Sure.
these things,
It
surely.
will, yeah, it will increase their knowledge because right now, since they are in second, third year, they have not studied this subject, so they're not much aware about even if they can do MBA also in this field, they can go for jobs in this field right after
Yes.
their BBA also. This helps
Right.
them in knowing more. So,
Very true, ma'am.
thank you so much for sir sharing your valuable information, valuable knowledge on this topic. I have personally taught both IM, IBM and international and Indian Eco. So
Very good.
I
Very good.
know how much practical information you have shared with respect to this topic. That will definitely help our students. I'm sure everyone else who has attended this session has the same opinion about your session, sir. I would also
Thank you.
like to thank Dr. Seema, convener Mentoring Cell DME. And lastly, but not the least, obviously all the students, all the participants who have attended this session. Thank you so much, sir.
So my personal thanks to Dr. Seema Madam and Dr. Suchi for giving me this opportunity. I'm very happy that yes, though the topic is slightly different for BBA students, but hopefully they will have some feeling about this. They can take it as a
Yes,
serious
sir.
career also.
Yes, sir.
So with these words,
Yes.
thank you, madam.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
All
so
much,
the
much,
sir.
students
sir.
also. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
My
everybody.
sure, sure, ma'am. Thanks.
Students, you may exit the meeting after you have filled the feedback form. Please click on that in case you have not filled. Please fill it and submit it. And then please exit the meeting. And we can stop the recording now.
Yeah, I'm doing that.